Hello everyone. In today's lecture, we will see some questions based on real function. And the title is real function progressive question, right? So practice questions from 1 to 10. The images used in our slide deck are for educational purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners of these images. If you are the owner of any of the images used in this deck and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. So let's start with question number 1. It says you have to find the domain of fx, where fx is root over x minus 1 upon x minus 2 fractional part of x, right? Where this curly bracket denotes the fractional part of x, right? So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. After 10 seconds, we will discuss the solution. Okay, let's move to the solution part C. We have x minus 1 upon x minus 2 fractional part of x greater than equal to 0. Here two cases arises, right? Case 1 is when x greater than equal to 1 and x greater than 2 fractional part of x. So when x after and combination of these two gives x greater than equal to 2, right? Therefore x belongs to 2 to infinity. Clear? Case 2 is when x less than equal to 1 and x less than 2 fractional part of x, right? So by combination of these two we will get x less than 1 and x not equal to 0. Clear? Therefore x belongs to minus infinity to 0, union 0 to 1. Clear? So finally x equal to 1 is also the point in domain, right? X equal to 1 is also the point in the domain. So I think option D is the right choice. D, which is minus infinity to 0, 0 to 1, union 2 to infinity. Clear? Okay, let's move to the next question. Question number 2, which says the range of fx equal to greatest integer function of mod sin x plus mod cos x, where this bracket denotes the greatest integer function, right? Is so again you have 10 seconds to solve this question. After 10 seconds, we will discuss the solution. Okay, let's move to the solution part C. Y is equal to mod x plus mod y. So by squaring both sides, you will get y square is equal to 1 plus mod of sin 2x, right? Because sin square x plus cos square x plus 2 mod sin x mod cos x is 1 plus mod sin 2x, right? So y square is basically between 1 to 2, right? Clear? So y belongs to 1 to root 2. Clear? Therefore, see, root 2 is basically 1.414, right? So y belongs to 1 to 1.414, right? So greatest integer function of y is basically 1, right? Clear? For all x belongs to real. Clear? So I think option C is the right choice, 1. Okay? Okay. Let's move to the next question, question number 3, which says if greatest integer function, which says x square greatest integer function of x plus x minus a as a solution where a belongs to n and a is less than equal to 20, then total number of different values of a can be. We have 10 seconds to solve this question. After 10 seconds, we will discuss the solution. Okay, let's move to the solution part C. Greatest integer function of x square plus x plus minus a equal to a. A is natural number and less than equal to 20. So this is integer, right? Therefore, x has to be an integer. Clear? X is basically integer. A is basically x square plus x. X is an integer, so x square is also integer. So integral part of x square is x square itself. So a is x square plus x, which is when we take x as common, x into x plus 1. Thus a can be product of two consecutive number, right? A can be product of two consecutive natural number. So a can be 2 which is 1 into 2, 3, 6, which is 2 into 3, 12, which is 3 into 4, and 20, which is 4 into 5. Clear? So I think option C is right choice. 4 values of A, 4 different values of A, right? Let's discuss next question. It says the total number of solution of greatest integer function of x square plus greatest integer function of x square is equal to x plus 2 fractional part of x, where this denotes greatest integer function of x and curly bracket denotes the fractional part of x is equal to. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. After 10 seconds, we will discuss the solution. Now to the solution part C. Greatest integer function of x square is basically x plus 2 fractional part of x. Now greatest integer function of x square is C. X can be written as x is equal to greatest integer function of x plus fractional part of x, right? So it can be further written as greatest integer function of x plus 3 times fractional part of x, right? After removing x with greatest integer function of x plus fractional part of x. So fractional part of x is basically greatest integer function of x square minus greatest integer function of x upon 3. Since we know that fractional part of x is between 0 to 1, so greatest integer function of x square minus greatest integer function of x upon 3 is between 0 to 1, right? So greatest integer function of x belongs to 1 minus root 13 upon 2 to 0 union 1 to 10 1 to 1 plus root 13 by 2, right? Here, after solving this, so greatest integer function of x can be minus 1, 0, 1, 2, right? So fractional part of x is basically 2 by 3, 0, 0, 2 by 3, while putting the value of greatest function of x here, right? You will get fractional part of x here. So x can be, if fractional part of x is basically this, x can be minus 1 by 3, because x we know that is greatest integer function of x plus fractional part of x, right? So you will add these two. So minus 1 by 3, 0, 1, and 8 by 3 here. So can be the right choice, 4 values. Total number of solutions, 4 solutions. Clear? Let's move to the next question, question number 5, which says if fx is equal to sin x plus cos x and gx is equal to x square minus 1, then g of fx is invertible in the domain. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. After 10 seconds, we will discuss the solution. Okay, let's move to the solution part. See, g of fx is basically sin x plus cos x square minus 1, right? From here, g of fx. Given that it is invertible, so g of fx is basically, after solving this, you will get g of fx is equal to sin 2x. We know that sin x is bijective only when x belongs to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Thus, g of fx is bijective if 2x belongs to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, right? So x belongs to minus pi by 4 to pi by 4. Clear? So I think option B is the right choice. Okay. So next question. Let fx equal to this, x power 10 plus 8 plus a x to power 8 plus b x power 6 plus c x power 4 plus gx square be a polynomial function with a real coefficient. If f1 is equal to 1 and f2 is equal to minus 5, then the minimum number of distinct real zeros of fx is. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. After 10 seconds, we will discuss the solution. Okay, let's move to the next part. Let's move to the solution. Since fx is an even function, its graph is symmetrical about y-axis, right? Also, we have f1 is equal to 1 and f2 is equal to minus 5. Clear? So since graph is symmetrical, so f of minus 1 is also 1 and f of minus 2 is also minus 5. Clear? So according to this information, we have the following graph. Clear? Right. Thus the minimum number of zeros is 5. Clear? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 zeros. Clear? there are 5 zeros. So option A is right choice, 5. Let's move to the next question, question number 7, which says R2R, fx is equal to x cube plus 3 and gx is equal to, or gx is equal to 2x plus 1. Then f inverse O g inverse 23 is equal to. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. After 10 seconds, we will discuss the solution. Okay, let's move to the solution part. See clearly, f inverse O g inverse 23 is basically G O f inverse 23, right? Right? We know the properties of inverse. So G O f x is equal to 2. G O f x is equal to, you can put 2x cube plus 3 plus 1, right? Which after solving will get 2x cube plus 7. Let y is equal to GOF inverse 23. So GOF 23, GOF y is equal to 23, right? So 2y cube plus 7 is equal to 23. So 2y cube is equal to 16, right? So y cube is equal to 8. Clear? So y is equal to 2. Hence, f inverse OJ inverse 23 is equal to 2. Clear? I think option A is the right choice. Clear? Next question, question number 8, which says, if fx and gx are two functions such that fx equal to greatest integer function of x plus greatest integer function of minus x and gx equal to fractional part of x for all x belongs to real, and hx is equal to f of gx, then which of the following is incorrect, right? Where this denotes greatest integer function and this denotes fractional part of x. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. After 10 seconds, we will discuss the solution. Move to the solution part C. We have fx equal to greatest integer function of x plus greatest integer function of minus x, which will be 0 if x belongs to integer and minus 1 when x does not belong to integer, as we know this. And gx is basically fractional part of x, which is 0 if x belongs to integer and x if x does not belong to integer. And hx equal to f of gx is equal to f of fractional part of x is equal to f of 0 when x belongs to integer and f of x when x does not belong to integer, and which is equal to 0 when x belongs to integer and minus 1 when x does not belong to integer. Clear? So we have to find which one is incorrect, right? So I think option B is incorrect. f of x equal to gx has no solution, right? So I think option B is incorrect, right? Let's move to the next question, question number 9, which says the period of the function fx equal to greatest integer function of 6x plus 7 plus cos pi x minus 6x, where this denotes greatest integer function is. We have 10 seconds to solve this question. After 10 seconds, we will discuss the solution. Discuss solution. C. We have fx equal to greatest integer function of 6x plus 7 plus cos pi x minus 6x. So it can be written as greatest integer function of 6x plus 7 plus cos pi x minus 6x. See, 6x minus greatest integer function of 6x is basically fractional part of 6x, right? Yes. So minus of this will be minus of fractional part of 6x, right? 7 plus cos pi x minus fractional part of 6x, right? Now, 6x has period 1 by 6, we know this, and cos pi x has period. Therefore, the period of fx is LCM of 2 and 1 by 6, right? Which is LCM of 2 and 1 and HCF of 1 and 6, right? So LCM of 2 and 1 by 6 is 2. Hence, the period is 2. Clear? Option C is the right choice. Clear? Okay, let's move to the next question, question number 10, which says the number of real solutions of the equation log 0.5 x mod x is equal to 2 mod x is. Here you have 10 seconds to solve this question. After 10 seconds, we will discuss the solution. Okay, let's move to the solution part C. For the solution given of given question equation, let us know the graph of y equal to log 0.5 mod x and y equal to 2 mod x, right? See, this is the graph of y equal to 0.5 x and this is the graph of y equal to 0.5 minus x, right? And this is graph of y equal to 2 mod x, right? So it is cutting, both graphs are cutting each other or intersecting each other at 2 points, right? From the graph, it is clear that there are two solutions, right? Two solutions. So I think option B is right choice. Clear? Two solutions. Okay. Thank you.